of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
And I'm Juan Gonzalez. Welcome to all of our listeners and viewers around the country and around the world.
Juan, before we go on to our first story, the story you exposed, the CityTime scandal in New York, the largest in New York history, more people have just been convicted.
Yes, on a Friday afternoon, a federal jury in Manhattan Federal Court took 10 hours to convict 3 of the masterminds of the CityTime fraud, a massive fraud. Mark Mazur, GERARD, DENAULT, and DIMITRY ARONSHTEIN. They are now the 6th, 7th, and 8th people who have been found guilty in this massive conspiracy that went on for almost a decade with contractors for New York City who were creating a payroll system, stealing tens of millions of dollars. In fact, the main contractor, SAIC, the defense contractor, ended up paying the city of New York back $500 million. And then federal authorities seized, they say now they've seized about $40 million more in assets from the criminal conspiracy. So altogether, the taxpayers have recouped $540 million. And I started the articles in late 2009 and early 2010. By the end of 2010, the New York City Department of Investigations and then the federal prosecutor, Preet Bharara, then began arresting people. Altogether, 11 people were arrested in the conspiracy. 8 have now been convicted. 2 of them fled to India with about $35 million that they took with them when they fled to India, and 1 subsequently died before the trial. So it's been really an amazing saga of one after another. These
and
corrupt
CityTime was providing.
Well, interestingly, it was supposed to be a payroll and timekeeping system to make sure that the 300,000 city workers did not cheat on their hours. And it was the people who were developing the system to assure that the city workers weren't cheating, who were robbing the taxpayers of hundreds of millions of dollars.
You also write about President Obama's nominee for Secretary of the Air Force, Deborah Lee James.
Yes, Deborah Lee James was President Obama has named her to be Secretary of the Air Force, and she was a chief executive of SAIC, the main company that ended up paying back $500 million, and was actually in charge of ethics and integrity at SAIC at the time that all of these contractors were arrested by federal authorities. So the idea that President Obama would nominate her now to be in charge of the Air Force and passing or approving the purchase of missiles and planes when she couldn't even do well in terms of assuring the integrity of one contract in New York City is really astounding. But the Senate has still to vote on her nomination.
And of course, we'll continue to follow the story.